be empowered with the right to defend themselves to whatever degree they are forced. Because while that video is wonderful, in theory, I like it. I use it as a teaching tool myself. But I also know we have too much proof that it doesn't work. Now, I don't excuse or dismiss the problems we have in our own communities. I hold us directly and specifically responsible for that. Yes. We are responsible for everything we produce, good, bad, and indifferent. We're responsible. However, that does not negate. We pay these people, not this one person, but the department he represents, we pay them to do a job. It is not done honorably, and it is not done equitably. So we have to be accountable for how we allow it to continue. That's a problem. I take issue with the fact that no one is in an uproar about Chief Hite's position in this community, unapologetically. We should hold ourselves accountable for what we allow in our community and our interaction with the police departments who we allow into our communities.
I don't want to get stuck on it, but I think the struggle is a lot of us feel like no matter how you behave, you get mistreated. So that's just how I feel. Anybody else want to answer the question about the future?
I think that the future of our community and interaction with police, we have to be honest, like brutally honest with ourselves and our children. I just don't think that we're giving them enough truthful information. And I think that our children deserve, many times our children act out because we are in denial. We're in denial about a very real truth that they grow up to realize. And they question us about these. It's like telling a child Santa Claus is real. You know, they start feeling a little way when they're suspicious, but this isn't exactly right. And they're coming to you with this dilemma, and you're telling them, if you're just nicer, they won't kill you. And that's just not true. It's no different than the same way all of us in this room, I don't see a white face in this room, male, female, no differently than it is clear. If I, as a black woman, walk down the street, and you, as a black man, say, how you doing today, sister? And I give you some cold shoulder or snappy, you know, black woman, neck-rolling response, you would say, I shouldn't judge you based on this dude I encountered, and this dude I encountered, and this dude who said something illicit to me. You might have been a nice guy. I shouldn't judge you based on that. I don't know who you are. I didn't even give you a chance. I feel the same way when this man walks up to my vehicle. You don't know who I am. You should probably find out before I become your whatever you want to pop off and I have to be. The same way you fear for your life, I justifiably fear for my life. You should understand you're the professional who's trained and supposed to know you got this job to do that job. I'm a mom. I know how hard this damn job is being a mom. I would love to be Susie Homemaker and bake cookies and offer you treats and stickers. You ever watch Nanny and they give you one of them charts so the children will behave? I would love for that to be the job description of a mom. Nap time, I can do that. Me, yes. But when I got a 14-year-old who I got to step off in his chest because you will not disrespect me, I don't care how big you think you've gotten, that too is part of my job description as a mom. But I took that job when I laid there and pushed. You took that job when you put that uniform on. You knew somebody wasn't going to like you. This is not a popularity contest. This is a contract. And like all service providers, you know some customers are going to be snappy and some aren't. I would love to have a mutually respectful, I would love to not fear when they come to my vehicle. But I'm not going to tell my children it's better for them to go to jail than to go to the cemetery. Because my ancestors, like your ancestors, while you playing, said it is better to live on your feet than to die on your knees. That is the reality we owe and honor to our collective ancestors, and we're not living that. So in my opinion, the future of our relationship with our police officers is to educate our children accurately and allow them to see us interacting with police officers who we pay appropriately. I don't think it's necessary for me to be belligerent with every officer I see in a uniform, and that's generally not my position. But I will not bend over. My son will not get out of this vehicle and be on his knees for a routine traffic stop. Because he would not if he wasn't black. And the same way black officers manage to serve and protect white neighborhoods with dignity and respect, you will learn to serve our community the same way, regardless. All of us in this room encounter black people who don't know how to act and they got no home training.
Every day.
Every day. But our first response to them is not to meet that belligerence with belligerence, because we recognize they don't know no better. See, you bring your child to my house and they ain't got no home training, and I know I whip other people's children. That's not my first response. Because sometimes what this child needs is a little better understanding. Come on, let's have a talk about this. Let's start right here. We don't have to start at abuse. Our people have been chronically abused. Our children behave the way they do, not out of a vacuum. We allow them to be pushed into this. You see this beautiful child? Catch her in 10 years. We allow this system to turn our children against us. We don't recognize them. We can't relate to them. We can't even communicate with them. Because we keep putting them into a machine that churns them into something else. They return to us, these foreign entities, and we keep going, I don't know what's wrong with these children. Are you sure? Because I could take you to quite a few IPS schools right now that house public clinics in the building. Are you sure you don't know what's wrong with our children? Are you sure you don't know why they're belligerent? Because they weren't belligerent when they went into your school building. They weren't belligerent when they came out of the womb. But check the Head Start statistics. Compare them to the prison statistics. You ask your mayor, just like you could ask your president, why is it that Indiana is one of 41 states that checks first and third grade test scores to see how many prisons we can anticipate filling? You need to ask yourself that. We don't owe them the courtesy of dying politely. We don't owe them that. And I'm not going to teach my children that, because my sons cannot be men being told by their mother to live on their knees. I owe it to my children to tell them they have the right to their humanity. Not just their manhood and their womanhood, but their humanity. No differently than I cannot justify treating this man any different than I would any man. I can't justify it. But at the same time, I can have an expectation of him. And when he doesn't feel it, he should expect to be met with any other discourse that would come from a dissatisfied black woman. And if you didn't learn how to deal with black folks when you went through training and got set loose on the black community, you should have kept your ass in training.